Hi there, thank you for joining me for this latest episode of Sister Wives. This is for season 18, episode 11. Do subscribe to the channel if you're a fan of the show, and also let me know your thoughts on the happenings in this episode in the comments. So, firstly, we see a little flashback on what's happened in the last episode, and then we see, strangely enough, a flashback on Janelle's and Kody's meeting at the restaurant when they met up after the huge fight, which was kind of weird. I wonder what that was about. Anyway, the episode starts out with Christine talking about the conversation that she was having with Janelle. She feels like it would be so easy to fix the relationship with Janelle, for Kody to fix the relationship with Janelle. But Janelle is more concerned about the relationship that Kody has with the children, and that's what's first and foremost in her mind. And that would be, I guess, the hardest thing for Kody to be able to fix in order to fix the relationship with Janelle. So Christine is back home, and we have the big reveal about the pregnancy for Mykelti. She says that everybody really knew about it except for Isabel, so she was going to let her know. But one piece of the information about the pregnancy that hasn't been revealed to anyone was that she was pregnant with twins. So she showed them the sonogram, and when they looked at the sonogram, then they should have been able to see that there's two. And so that was the hint and the reveal that she's having twins. So Christine is super excited. She could not believe it that they're having twins. And meanwhile, the little baby, what's her name? Avalon? Was that Avalon? Anyway, the little baby was at the table, double fisting the bagels. It was so cute. It kind of reminds me of my little girl when she was little. She used to always love biscuits, so she would pile her plates with biscuit, double fisting biscuits all day. So that gave me a little chuckle. Little baby was so cute. So anyway, Mykelti said that she wasn't surprised that she was having twins. She said when the doctor told her there might have been two, she's like, okay. And then when it was confirmed, she's like, okay, I guess. So then she went home to let Tony know about this, and he couldn't really comprehend. He was just in shock. And she said she showed him the sonogram and was like, there are two blobs in there. Mykelti was just going with the flow. You know, she's just like, okay, well, that's what God gave me, no big deal. But everybody was just freaking out that she's having twins, which is super excited. I would have loved to have twins. Anyway, Kody said in his confessionals that there were no twins in the family that he knows of, so probably it was on Tony's side. And I'm like, okay, what's the point? Mykelti says she always wanted twins, and Tony surprisingly says that there's no history of twins on his side either. So I guess there's just a freak of nature with this twin thing. Christine thinks they'll be great parents to twins, and then she also mentioned that they pretty much essentially had twins in the family when Janelle gave birth to Gabe and she gave birth to Gwen, because they were 4 days apart. So there's pretty much closest thing to twins, I guess, in the household. Then we see where Meri's at the B&B. She says that not too long ago that she had celebrated her 32nd anniversary with Kody, which is a long, long time. The mood is a bit somber, the music playing, and so we know that whatever she's going to say in this episode, I had a feeling it wasn't going to be good. So she says leading up to the anniversary, and even the prior few years, she really didn't know what to expect when anniversary time rolled around, because the relationship between them haven't been really that great. And she felt like, when they have gone out in the prior years, that it felt more obligatory than anything else. There's just not, I guess, romance or excitement, the typical relationship type of mood that you would have. And she says that this year, Kody didn't call or text her at all. And so as the day progressed and nothing from him, she decided to call. And so when she called and said happy anniversary, he said a happy anniversary. And then she is the one who asked if he wanted to go out for dinner or go for a ride or something. And he says, well, I don't know. I'm watching the kids. I'll have to talk to Robin. Kody says that he needed a minute to think. He needs a reason to say no. I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah, I kind of had a feeling that was the case. Because surely, Ham and Robin already knew what day it was. They're all involved in each other's relationship. So surely they all knew, but he decided not to say anything. And I guess that should have been a hint to Meri, but all this stuff kind of goes over her head, and she's living in her own world when it comes to the relationship with her and Kody, or lack of a relationship. But I feel like, he should, since he claimed he was playing along, he should have just said, okay. And then, I'm sure Robin wouldn't have said, you can't go. But just to appease her, he should have just agreed up front and not let her have to wait to hear that he will agree to go out. Even though he knows he doesn't want to have a relationship, I feel like that would give him an opportunity to talk to her and be able to reveal that versus having her wait only to come back later to say, okay, we'll go out. So he calls her back later and agreed to go to dinner. She says that at one point during the dinner, he started mentioning fake relationships and pretty much doing the finger animation, I guess, to referring to him and her. So he is calling the relationship fake, and I guess the reason why he's calling it fake because he's kind of pretending, but I don't think like anybody's pretending. There's nothing going on. He's not pretending to like you, and Meri's not pretending to like him because she genuinely, I guess, wants to be with him, but he doesn't really care. But anyway, he's trying to convey that the relationship is not genuine. And so he says because he didn't know why he didn't know why she called to say happy anniversary because they're really not married. That's what Meri said, but he stopped himself on the word married and then, says, change the wording, but basically that's what he wanted to say. And Meri insists that she didn't know that that's how he felt. I don't know, Meri. How could you not? I don't know. How could you not? Kody says that things haven't been great for like 7 years now, and that he was trying to fix things. And apparently not because he really wanted to. He said that through counseling and the recommendation of the other wives, he was convinced to try to fix it. So he didn't really want to. He was pushed by other people to try to fix it, basically. Now, I just wonder, like, what other wives he was talking about, because he mentioned plural. And the only person that's in the relationship between him and Meri is Robin. So who else was adding commentary to the situation and trying to encourage him to stay with Meri? I just wonder. It just seems like it's made up because I'm not aware of anybody else being involved. But you let me know, for those who have been following the show longer than I have, if there was anybody else encouraging him to stay with Meri. Anyway, Meri said that she had asked him to take a break around the time that they were going through counseling and all that, when he claimed that things were really bad. And he said that she kicked him out. And Meri insists that she never kicked him out. She never put his stuff out. Nothing like that to suggest that she was done with him. But he is insisting that she kicked him out. What it looks like to me, just like with the anniversary, is that he needed a reason to leave. And so he needed a reason to get away from Meri. And so he's insisting that, she kicked him out. And so, if somebody's telling you like, hey, I didn't mean that, this is what I meant, you misunderstood my intentions or what I said. And, why would you be so hell-bent on believing something else? Because that's what you want to do. You're looking for an excuse. So he is hell-bent on thinking or believing that he was kicked out. And that's why, he's over by Robin. And that's why the relationship between him and Meri broke down, which is, from Meri's account, is not true. Meri said that he told her that he had no desire to have a relationship with her. He said to her, your life is not one I want to insert myself into. And I was like, yikes. She says she would never forget those words, and she was hurt and heartbroken by this. But this can't hardly be a surprise, could it, Meri? I just don't understand why she's so surprised. And I understand that she's heartbroken. It's 32 years of your life that you've devoted to this guy. So that part I understand, but I don't understand how she can be so surprised that this is how he feels, or this is how the relationship is going, or that we've gotten to this point. She says that she thought he would keep his promise to her for forever. And unfortunately, I feel like she's a little bit naive in this because, relationships end all the time. Not all relationships last until death. And so, her thinking that because he made this promise to her that they would be together forever, that it would happen, that's a little naive to me. But nevertheless, I feel sad for her. But I'm glad that he has made things finally very crystal clear to her that things are over between them and that, she can move on with her life. So Mykelti says that she wouldn't be giving birth with a midwife this time because of the twin situation. It's a high-risk pregnancy, so they wanted her to go and see a doctor. Her last pregnancy was an at-home birth, and Christine was saying that Tony did not like that at all and didn't want that to happen again. She says that she will support whatever that they decide to do. So Mykelti revealed that they're going to Dr. Bean, and Christine was very excited about this. Apparently, Dr. Bean was Christine's doctor when she had Truly, and so she's excited because she really loved that doctor. Christine mentioned that she was 38 when she had Truly, but her other 5 pregnancies were at home. And so we see a flashback to two of the home births, one for Madison and one for Robin when she gave birth at home. And Christine, do we see a flashback of Christine? I don't remember. But Christine that says that she highly recommends home birth. The recovery is much better, and staying at home in your own bed is great, which I could see that because those hospital beds are just terrible, just awful. But as far as the home birth part of it, she feels like it's more beneficial than, giving birth at the hospital. She goes on to say that there is a fear of hospitals in the polygamous culture, which is why home birth is preferred. And, with home birth, there's no paperwork. And so most polygamists feel like because their lifestyle is frowned upon, that maybe, if they go to the hospital to have birth, their children could get taken away. And I was wondering if this was really true. I just found it weird that they would, the hospital could take somebody's children away just for that. But Janelle says, she feels differently about this whole situation of hospitals than Christine does. She says she didn't grow up in polygamy. She grew up in a traditional family. And so she did not grow up with the fear of hospitals. And as a matter of fact, Kody was on the birth certificate of all her children. So it seemed to me that the fear and the understanding or belief that Christine has about children possibly taken away might not be true because of Janelle saying that all her children are on Kody's on all their birth certificates. But anyway, if you know more about this than I do, then please feel free to enlighten me. I'm just wondering if hospitals could really take their children away just because they're in plural marriages. That would be really sad if that was the case. Anyway, Trudy is turning 12, and Kody is having a party at his house for her. Kody says that after the divorce, he questions whether he can trust the kids. And I was like, what? How is the children at fault for why would they be the ones that you couldn't trust? You would think that, you would maybe feel like, can I trust the wives that I do have because a wife left me? Why would you not be able to trust the kids? I was like, what? Kody, you were not in a marriage with the children. What do you mean? What are you talking about? And really, I was thinking to myself that they should be posing the question to you as in, will you be around and be a supportive father now that their mom is not in a relationship with you? Or whether they would see any inkling of you, because from what I've been seeing, that even when Christine was married to you, the children barely had any interactions, or you barely had any involvement in their lives. So I feel like the mistrust is directed in the wrong direction. Anyway, he had mentioned, he was asked about Maddie, and he says that Maddie has stopped reaching out to him. I don't know why that was brought up to him in that moment, but anyway, that's what happened. So they're having the birthday party for Truly, and we see where he's grilling and they're playing cards. Robin says that she misses the family gatherings and that she wants the kids to feel safety and comfort in her home. She says both Truly and Isabel, there's Truly and Isabel along with her kids who are at the house. She says Truly was born after she came into the family, so Truly does not have any memories without her and her kids. And I was like, what does this mean? What is she trying to say here? I don't get why she felt the need to bring that up. But let me know if there's something I'm missing about why she's saying this. I'm like, Why are you saying this right now? Christine says Isabel lives in North Carolina with Maddie and Caleb, and she's living her own life, and she has a job, and she's doing great. Kody says in his confessional that he's concerned about the cloud of gloom hanging over them all the time. And I was just like, I think the cloud of gloom you're sensing is yourself. But anyway, he claims it is due to, as usual, he's blaming Christine. He's alluding that it has something to do with Christine leaving. Once again, he's mentioning whether he can trust the kids. And he said Truly seems fine, but Isabel seems uncomfortable sometimes. Isabel says that her relationship with Kody has never been 100% solid, but the divorce kind of makes things a little bit awkward. No one really knows what to do, and a divorce happening in polygamy, people especially don't know what to do. He says that Kody goes on to say that getting divorced was not one of his goals. He says his goal was for the family to be all under one roof. And so we see a flashback where he had this presentation about, the family home. And there was this massive house that he had on the screen that was supposed to be the family home where everybody would live. So what happened to the family home that he was showing? Was this the house that they had previously? Did he ever build it? Or because they're living in their own homes. And then I thought they were living in their own homes before as well. But it wasn't that house that I saw in the image that they showed in the flashback. So let me know if you know what became of that house. Is this the one that he was planning to build? Or he mentioned later on in the episode that he and Robin were still going to build on Coyote Pass. So was that the plan to build that there? I don't know. I haven't been watching far enough. But enlighten me, please. He says he wonders if the failure of the family was due to him expecting too much. And I was like, here we go again. Kody is once again floored and at a loss as to how things got to be how they are now. So then we see where, he's talking about how they went through even writing a mission statement for the family. They had a commitment ceremony. And I was just like, this is weird. Like, it's just weird to have a mission statement for a family and then have a public proclamation of the statements. I don't know. It almost reminds me of a ribbon cutting ceremony. Like, what is going on? So, is this something that other people do, or is this a Kody thing? I've never heard of a family doing this, but I'm just curious as to, whether maybe there's a smaller population of people who do this, or it's just different. It's just giving me a business type of setup, a corporate thing. I've only heard of a mission statement, with businesses, so I don't understand what this is about. And then also, what was the purpose of the mission statement to be? I don't get it. Kody says that if he was in Utah, he would be too embarrassed to show himself at church. He says he doesn't have a church in Flagstaff either, so I guess he's embarrassed about the state of the family. So, he doesn't want to show himself anywhere. He's not religiously affiliated to any church in Flagstaff either. And they show a flashback to a Brown family home church or something. So I guess at one point they were having church in their home. And so Robin was at the front of the, she was leading the discussion, I guess, or whatever that part of it is. And so she was addressing all the kids, and she says, when you have your purity and you give your purity to your wife or your husband, then you will get lots of happiness and blessings. I'm like, what in the world? I've never heard anything like this being discussed in Bible study or children's church. What is going on here? This is different. Is this something that is done in other denominations? Like, why are we talking about this right now? Oh, that's different. Kody says that he's a man of faith, but he struggles due to being a polygamist. Isn't that a contradiction? Okay. He says he's not, he doesn't fit into his old religion because he's a polygamist. And so, does anyone know what his old religion was? Or, well, polygamist is not a religion. What's he saying? So he got, he couldn't marry. He couldn't have multiple wives under his old religion. So he got kicked out of that, or he left that. We see a flashback to Kody officiating Madison's wedding. Then Kody says that Maddie, I guess they're resuming this topic of from previously. He's saying that Maddie had stopped reaching out to him. He says that it might have been due to COVID. Of course, he's ignorant as usual as to why she stopped reaching out. He said it might have been COVID or something. And Janelle says the reason that Madison had stopped reaching out to him was due to his behavior. And Madison doesn't really know what to do with him. She doesn't really know who this person is. And she's concerned about, the children being around him. And I'm getting the vibe that, she doesn't feel like he would be a good influence on the children as a grandfather figure. And so she just doesn't want to have anything to do with it right now. And so, of course, with this situation with Madison, Kody's at a loss as usual. Robin says the kids miss their sibling. And it seems weird that she says that there's this weird wall that she can't seem to penetrate. So at one point, Robin and the family got along. So there had to have been something that has happened to cause this. But of course, in typical Kody and Robin fashion, they have no idea how they came to be in this place. And so therefore, because they don't know how they came to be in this place, they don't know how to fix it. Kody says that the family is broken, and he wants to believe that that these people, I don't know who these people is that he's talking about, can work on this relationship with him. So they're supposed to do the work to make things right with him, not them working together to fix the relationship. Yeah, Kody's not trying to do any work. If the family is going to get back together, the relationship's going to be healed, they have to come to him. That's what I'm getting from this. So Kody goes on to say something that's supposed to be profound, but sounds more like confusion to me. The relationship doesn't end in my family, but something about it has ended, and it is an ending. It's like he's trying to do a rap here. I was like, what are you talking about? What is this? Does this make sense to anyone? The relationship doesn't end in my family, but something about it has ended, and it's ending. I don't know. Yeah, I have a confused emoji face going right now. So we see Janelle, she's at Garrison's place, and the kids have made her some planters in his garden. So she's going to plant some veggies. So this scene goes back and forth between the gardening scene and Janelle's confession, talking about what's been going on with Kody. So she says that she hasn't gone out with Kody since her birthday. She says that there's nothing there, that they're friendly when they have to be, but there's really no connection. On a side note, it was mentioned that Gwen was not going to be moving in after all. Anyway, she says the kids have not talked to their dad, and Kody said that he said to Gabriel that once they finish high school, his obligation shifts. to more one of mutual respect. Once again, I don't know what he's trying to say, but what I'm gathering is that what he's trying to say is that once they get to high school age, I'm done with you. You're pretty much done. I'm not raising you. I'm not doing anything with you. You're a man now, so do what you need to do. He goes on to say that if they can't respect his house, they can't respect him. They can't stay in his house. He's like, remember, this is my house, not yours. And he seems to love to use this house thing to depict some kind of superiority or some kind of seniority because he has a house. Well, a house is just a thing. The relationship with the children is more important. Janelle says Kody is getting back exactly what he put into the relationship, and basically nothing, because he's not really doing a whole lot. He just abandoned the children once they reach a certain age, and then he expects the children to do all the work from there. Whether they talk to him is up to them. Whether he sees them, it's up to them. So basically he wants to do nothing. Janelle says she hasn't talked to Robin or Meri since they had that meeting on Robin's porch or patio. We see a flashback where Kody's going on a tirade about being prosecuted for 18 months by his family. He says his heart was broken and Christine left because of this. So whatever the conversation was, we just saw a snippet, but he's saying whatever he was going off about was the reason why Christine left. Anyway, he has his voice raised and he's going on to say that, he really survived a dark place. And Janelle says, so he was there with Janelle and Robin. And Janelle's like, I understand that. And why did she open her mouth? Because he unleashed even more wrath on her. He's like, but you don't give a look at you. You're dismissing it. And I was like, oh my goodness. I thought that the whole big fight around Christmas was the first one, and it was an outburst and not typical. But this one shows me that that wasn't the first time that he spoke to Janelle that way or behaved in that manner that was kind of very, very angry and threatening in a sense. He was very mean to her. And so when he said that, Janelle just got up and walked away, and I was like, yes, do not let him talk to you like that. And so, of course, we see typical Robin fashion. She's like, oh, Janelle, please don't leave. Let's talk about this some more. And Kody's like, this is the wrong decision to walk away, Janelle. And she just kept walking. I was like, yes, you go, girl. Do not let them sit there and talk down to you and demean you, especially not in that disrespectful tone and manner that Kody was talking to her. It's like, how dare this guy? This is not somebody you care about. The way he was talking to her, I was just like, no way. Do not take that, Janelle. So she says at some point, Janelle says at some point that she would like to put some greenhouses on Coyote Pass and run some small scale operation of growing plants. She really enjoys, gardening, and it really makes her happy. She then says it would be happy if they could even pay the property off, because every time that she asked about it, it's been crickets or she's getting a runaround. So I'm like, oh, interesting. What's really going on with Coyote Pass? What is the financial situation that she can't get any straight answers from Kody? Kody, in his confessional, says that they are going to pay the property off. I mean, Janelle sits and pesters me about it all the time. I was like, oh, okay. And why would that be? Why is she pestering you, I wonder? What is going on that she feels the need that she needs to stay on top of you about, or try to find out what's really going on? He seems really annoyed at Janelle, like how dare her ask about that. And the fact that he says she's pestering him, the word choices, I was just like, dude, seriously. If she has a financial stake in the property, what is so unusual about her asking certain questions or trying to figure out where they are, what's their progress with paying it off? Why wouldn't she want to know about that? Kody says that he and Robin still intends to build on Coyote Pass, which, okay. I guess once they split it up, then they could decide whatever they want to do on their own part of it. Janelle says she doesn't really recognize these people anymore as far as their priorities and their thought processes, which she's probably referring to Kody, Robin, and Meri, because she hasn't talked to them. She doesn't know what's going on. And I don't know. It just seems like Robin and Kody just wants to hoard all the resources, and just makes it difficult for anybody to be around. And so that way they just remove themselves from him. And so, he's the one holding on to all the family assets while they're, renting somewhere, and he has the house, he has the land. I just hope that Janelle stays on top of him and makes sure that, she gets her financial stake in the land. Then we see where Christine and her kids are outside. She's in Utah again. It's she says Truly wanted a bike for her birthday, so they're outside and they're going to have her take another step at learning how to ride. Christine says that her first attempt at learning was disastrous. And then we see a flashback of her first time trying to ride her bike, and it was with Kody. She was scared, and instead of comforting her or encouraging her, he has this stern voice going, and you can tell that he's frustrated. And so she says, I don't want to do this, but he keeps pushing her. And he's like, there's no crying in baseball. And she's like, but this is a baseball. He says, well, this is riding a bike. It's easier than baseball. I was like, dude, she does not want to ride the bike. Leave her alone. Give her a break at a minimum. So then, you would think that when she starts crying, that would be a hint. But no, Kody is oblivious. And he clearly doesn't know how to handle the kids because, kids have meltdown all the time. Kids cry all the time. And he just didn't seem to know what to do. So he says he struggled with Truly. And surprise, surprise, he seemed to be blaming her for the failed attempt. He says she was not connecting to the experience. And then he goes on to say she didn't want to do it. And I'm like, ding, 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 ding. Are we just not realizing that Truly didn't want to ride the bike? So he was aware that she didn't want to do it, but then he would rather her to be upset and crying than just letting her not do it. Then he says, sometimes you just got to push a child, which is true, but this is not something that's vital to her development or something more critical to, her life. And especially, it's not something that has to be done in one day. You could start a little part of her getting a little, part of the process of riding a bike, a little part of doing it one day, try again tomorrow, But no, he wants to push her to try to learn a bike in one day. Well, the attitude and how he was handling it was not going to happen. If the kid starts to cry, you just have to let it go. But, of course, he doesn't know what to do. So, Truly is back at home, and she isn't really excited to ride the bike again. And when she was asked why, she says because she wished she had learned when she was 5, which is probably when Kody had tried to teach her how to ride the bike. I don't know. I guess that's the impression that I was getting maybe. But it could have been at a different time. So I just noticed, I was just like, okay. Christine says Truly has a great support system. We see where they're outside. And I think it was Mitch who was teaching her primarily how to pedal and, giving her support, holding on to her bike, encouraging her, helping to push her off. Christine says Truly has a great support system in Utah, and we can see her sister, Aspen, and Peyton is there, Isabel and Christine, they're outside, they're encouraging her. And Christine says, she's not going to be pushing her. So, she just wants to be her backup and support her in, learning how to ride her bike. But when she's done, when she says she's done, she's going to let her be done. You hear that, Kody? Let her be done when she wants to be done. Christine says that she's not going to force her beyond what she's comfortable with, which is the opposite of what Kody was doing. So Mitch says there needs to be less voices. And Christine was cracking up because she was like, this is the nicest way to tell somebody to shut up. Christine says when Mitch talks, everybody listens because he doesn't talk a lot. And sure enough, not long after that, we see, I don't know how much time had elapsed at that point, but we see where Truly was pedaling, she was upright and Mitch was helping her. And so a huge progress that she had made in just the one day. And then she decided she wanted to take a break. And which Mitch had asked her if she wanted to take a break, and she says yeah, and so they decided to take a break. Christine encouraged her and told her how much progress she was making and asked her what she wants to do next time and got her feedback, which is a much more productive approach. So she'll try again. Then she said she didn't want to go by the road, and there's a dip in the road at some point that she was scared about. So very productive session. And so now they know like what the plan is for the next time, what she's scared of, and what they need to help her with. So the episode closes out with Meri. She's kind of talking about the anniversary dinner again some more, some of which we heard before. And she goes on to say that earlier in the marriage that she had a lot of doubts, whether that Kody would love her forever, and that he was good at reassuring her that he loved her and she was his person. And then we see some flashbacks of the better times with Kody. Meri says that Kody told her that he never loved her and that he never felt that way about her as far as being, her being his person, that he would love her forever and all this stuff that she was saying before. And he said that he was trying to affirm her. Wow. I hope he was just saying that for whatever reason, and I don't know why anybody would say this, but I hope he was just saying that to get back at her and not because this was really, really the case. Because how do you spend 32 years trying to affirm a person that you care nothing about? This is insane. For some reason, it seems like he wants to hurt her because that's the most hurtful thing that a person could say, especially after 32 years. And why would you want to hurt her in this way? You could just say that, the marriage is over. You didn't have to tell her that you never loved her. I just feel bad for Meri. Like, really, like, my heart was broken and I'm not even in it. So then we go on to see a video clip of them. And she says that she married for forever. And he is not interested. But it seems like he wants her to stick around if she wants to. He says that they're never going to have a marriage relationship anymore. And she says she intends to keep a relationship with Robin and her kids as long as her and Kody are willing. But why? Why? I'm not saying don't talk to the children, but I mean, if they want to reach out and hang out and all that, but it sounds like, she, as usual, she's trying to force herself into the family. And, just don't force it. Just let them you know if they want you to be involved. It's not really your decision to make. Like, let them tell you, and keep up with the kids if you can. But don't just force yourself into, having a relationship. She says that, they should be open with the status of the marriage, that the fact that they don't really have a relationship anymore. And she says that Kody said no because he doesn't want the embarrassment or the criticism. And, she says that she should be able to tell her own story. Well, you should. You're an adult. So why are you allowing Kody to tell you what to do? It's like, she tries to appease Kody in hopes of them having a relationship, which, why are you doing that? He doesn't care. And so if you want to tell your story, then by all means, you should go ahead and do that because you're not in a relationship. There's nothing to protect. There's nothing, I just don't understand why she continually tries to appease Kody. She says that they can either stay married or she can continue to live independently. No, she says they can either stay married and she can continue to live independently or terminate things. But I was just like, okay, isn't the marriage already terminated? Didn't she divorce so Kody can marry Robin? So what exactly would we be terminating at this point? I don't understand. I'm confused. But please, guys, let me know what this is all about. I don't understand. If she's divorced already, did they have a spiritual marriage? Was there something else that was signed that she needs to terminate? I don't get it. Also, why are there two options? Because Kody has made it crystal clear about the fact that there's no longer a relationship. He doesn't love you. Why are there two options? Meri goes on to talk about the eternal covenant that they made. You know, they're supposed to be together forever, and their marriage is supposed to be forever. And I'm like, my goodness, woman. There's no relationship. He doesn't want you. It's over. So the old folks used to say, and this, you know, when I'm hearing her say this, and the fact that Kody already told her he doesn't want her, you know, it just brings to mind the saying that the old folks used to say back in the day: don't ever let a man tell you more than once that he don't want you. And I just wish that Meri would take that advice, because, like, this is painful to watch. I'm embarrassed for her. Just have some dignity and just leave the man alone. Anyway, this was the end of the episode. And I know there's a lot that's happened since this was filmed, which kind of sucks because, you know, the show is so far behind. But I try not to pay attention to what's playing out in real time. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are on this episode. Drop me a line in the comments.